We have new reporting this morning on evil lunacy. That is how Republican Liz Cheney described new statements from Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Evil lunacy. And to be honest, Cheney was being polite. Because Greene, whose understanding of comparative religion includes a belief of Jewish space lasers, equated mask requirements in the House to the Holocaust.
You know, we can look back in a time in history where people were told to wear a gold star, and they were definitely treated like second-class citizens, so much so that they were put in trains and taken to gas chambers in Nazi Germany. And this is exactly the type of abuse that Nancy Pelosi is talking about.
Now, this is not only a historic, it's abhorrent, John.
It is not only a historic, it is abhorrent. It's also apparently allowable under House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who hasn't commented on it and refused to punish Greene for past anti-Semitic statements she made. Wearing a mask compared to the murder of 6 million people? It's so far beyond the realm of decency, it could only possibly be made worse by comments from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I stand by all of my statements. I said nothing wrong. And I think any rational Jewish person didn't like what happened in Nazi Germany, and any rational Jewish person doesn't like what's happening with overbearing mask mandates.
Any rational Jewish person? I'm Jewish. I'm not at all religious, and thank God my family made it to this country decades before the Holocaust, but that's my heritage. And I promise you that Congresswoman Taylor Greene, she thinks I'm Jewish. So as a rational Jewish person, let me just say to Marjorie Taylor Greene, don't you dare speak for me. Not if you're going to compare health measures or anything to the Holocaust. In a tweet last night, she said, I'm sorry if my words make people uncomfortable. No, they don't make me uncomfortable. They make me sick. Essie, the comments from Marjorie Taylor Greene, they make my blood boil. Yeah. I mean, I don't know where to begin on that. I just don't.
Well, let's begin with the disappointment that the GOP and Kevin McCarthy have not condemned what is so easily condemnable. If you can't come out strongly against this, I'm not sure what you could. But this is what anti-Semitism looks like. And this is not the first time she's trafficked in anti-Semitic tropes and ideas. If you take the comparison, it works both ways. Not only is she comparing mask mandates to the Holocaust, she's also comparing the Holocaust to mask mandates. That's how little she thinks of the persecution of the Jews in the Holocaust. I think looking at it that way is more revealing than simply the vulgar and obscene comparison she's trying to make. This is a really rooted problem that the GOP cannot just ignore.
I think you actually identified the one part that I can wrap my arms around, right? Because I really can't fathom that there was a person in Congress
who believes that,
who said that out loud, okay? But Mara, the fact that Kevin McCarthy, he hasn't said anything about this yet. Yeah. And by the way, she said stuff within this spectrum before, and he was against her losing her committee post. McCarthy is letting this happen.
Absolutely. No question about that, because this isn't the first time we've heard things like this. You know, this goes to show, yet again, there are very few political consequences for Marjorie Taylor Greene in making these kind of reckless, inflammatory, dangerous, hurtful statements. But there are some political benefits from her. Let's be clear about who she is. This is a clout-chasing Trump wannabe. She knows that controversy sells. She's seen what it's done for Trump's political career, and she is taking her cues from that playbook. So that's what we're seeing here with this. That's why we're seeing her double down on this. It's no coincidence that she continues to pick fights with AOC. I would argue not because of AOC's policy positions, but because she's one of the biggest political stars in the country, right? So Greene is punching up, and she's seeking that attention, and that's what we keep seeing over and over again. And there are no bounds to what she will do to get that political attention because it continues to benefit her. We're talking about her now.
It's worse because with white supremacy on the rise and anti-Semitism and anti-Semitic attacks on the rise, the GOP is using her to speak to those voters. They might publicly pretend they're ashamed of her, but they want her supporters, and they want to satisfy and placate that growing wing of the Republican Party.
It's such a good point. I think that Mara's making there, that she's punching up, and that Essie is making there as well, Kirsten.
Yeah, I think that so first of all, I think she's also, we have to remember, she's harassing AOC, right? I mean, she's literally stalking her and harassing her. And I really think Nancy Pelosi needs to do something about this. I mean, it's not okay for one member of Congress to be harassing another member of Congress. I mean, that has to violate some sort of basic comity rules, right, in Congress, you would think. And then I think Kevin McCarthy has to deal with the fact that he has somebody who's making these outrageous, disgusting, sick comments about Jews. We have to remember, pre-Trump, this is unimaginable. Right?
Completely.
It's unimaginable that this would not immediately result with some sort of suspension or losing your committees or everybody distancing and trying to get you to resign.